Hey guys, we have another missing college student. This time it is out of Corpus Christi, Texas. 21-year-old Caleb Harris was last seen in the very early morning hours of March 4th, 2024. Investigators and law enforcement have been covering this case for a few weeks with unfortunately no leads, and I'm hoping that with this video and sharing this video, maybe we can garnish some type of nationwide attention to this story in an effort to find someone that may know where he could be. So according to the people that he lived with, one of his roommates actually got a dog, so they were actually up very late March 3rd that night into the early morning hours of March 4th playing with that dog. Now, sometime between 2:40 and 2:45 that morning, Caleb brings the dog outside for a walk, to use the bathroom, whatever the case may be. A few minutes later, the dog appears back in the apartment. However, Caleb is nowhere to be found. So after the dog is back inside the home at 3:03 a.m., further up this road, Enos Jocelyn Road, he sends a Snapchat at 3:03 in the morning, right before that blue line on the screen. AT&T did confirm that Caleb's phone last pinged near a pain management clinic or in a 50-foot radius to that pain management clinic on the screen. That's where that red pinpoint is. At 3:12 a.m., they last pinged him. My question is, as you can see on the screen, it's a 36-minute walk from his apartment complex to that pain management clinic or a 50-foot radius of that pain management clinic. So how did he get from his apartment complex, a few feet away from his apartment complex, to this pain management clinic area between 3:03 a.m. when that Snapchat was sent and 3:12 a.m. when it's saying that it's a 36-minute walk? Unless he was running, unless someone picked him up, I don't know, but it doesn't make sense that he would have gotten there in less than 10 minutes when it's clearly saying a 36-minute walk. Now, also a homeless person after 3 a.m. reported seeing Caleb on Holly Road. Take a look at his apartment complex. If he walked or somehow got down this road to this medical facility right here, this pain management clinic, and then went down, that's Holly Road. This is where the homeless person reported seeing him. We don't know exactly at what point or where on Holly Road. This is a very long road, but that is where he was reportedly seen by this homeless person. Now, if he walked from his apartment to the pain management facility or in that area, down, and then took a right down Holly Road instead of a left, this way is a little bit shorter, and then it ends up at a park and then a body of water, which to me is pretty concerning. Now, law enforcement did come out and say that they do have confirmation that he was walking around barefoot. He did not have shoes on. They have footage of him doing so. So that would match up with what the homeless person reported seeing. Now, new surveillance footage that just came out just a couple of hours ago is right here. This is Caleb and two of his friends bringing the dog outside around 1 o'clock in the morning. It's timestamped at 1 a.m. Now, a $25,000 reward has been put into place for anyone who can come forward with any valuable information as to what could have happened to him or where he may be. So if you have any information, please contact the number on the screen. I will be following this case very closely now, and hopefully we can get some traction on this and more people talking about this to share this story and hopefully bring out more answers. So make sure to follow. Let me know your guys' thoughts in the comments, and I will talk to you soon. Hey guys, let's talk about Caleb Harris, the missing college student's timeline out of Corpus Christi, Texas. So to quickly recap, this is 21-year-old Caleb Harris. He's a college student who attends Texas A&M University, and he was last seen in the very early morning hours of March 4th, 2024. Now at 11:53 p.m. on March 3rd, Caleb sent a picture of his roommate's new dog to his mom and uncle. At this time, he is at his apartment complex with his roommates and the dog. At around 1 o'clock in the morning on March 4th, Caleb is seen on Ring doorbell footage with two of his friends and the dog outside. This is the Ring footage that was released by law enforcement. Caleb is wearing the white. Now, just a quick observation as they turn around to go back into the apartment complex, this guy in the maroon, before following behind Caleb, looks directly at the Ring doorbell. I'm not trying to be accusatory, but that was just something that I observed. Now, it's reported that at 2 o'clock in the morning on March 4th, 2024, the roommate of Caleb goes to sleep on the couch, and that is the last time that anyone apparently saw Caleb. Now, this information was confirmed on the Nancy Grace episode where she was covering this case, that the roommate did go to bed on the couch around 2 a.m., but it says the roommate. It didn't say the roommates. There was two people with Caleb outside in that Ring footage, so I'm wondering where the other person was. Did he have two roommates and this was a slip up, or did he only have one roommate? If so, which one of those two guys that was outside outside in the Ring doorbell footage was his roommate. And where was the other person when Caleb was apparently walking outside? Where was he, and was he sleeping at that time as well? At 2:44 a.m., Caleb takes the dog for a walk allegedly, and he is barefoot and does not have his keys, wallet, or his shoes. 2:44 a.m., he also sends a Snapchat from the apartment complex parking lot to his sister, and it's believed that this is just a photo of the front view of him on his walk. Keep in mind at this time he is outside walking the dog alone in that parking lot. Now at 2:45 a.m. his phone is actively pinging by the apartment complex, and it's at this time that he's ordering food through Uber Eats. Now at 2:58 a.m., just a little over 10 minutes later, his phone apparently dies or is shut off. It's no longer pinging. Now Caleb's father said that it's not uncommon that his phone were to die because he's on it all of the time, but what is odd is the fact that he just up and disappeared again without his keys, without his wallet, without shoes on. He has a vehicle in the parking lot. He left without anything. And me saying he left, I'm using that very, very loosely because I don't think that he just up and left. So at 2:58, his phone is either shut off or it dies. But at 3:03, a Snapchat is sent from him from right outside of the apartment complex parking lot. And then at 3:12, his phone is pinging on Williams Drive. Now, how did a Snapchat send and how did his phone ping after his phone was shut off or apparently dead? The expert says that the 3:12 ping may not have been an accurate ping, and that the 3:03 Snapchat could have been a Snapchat that was trying to be sent earlier but did not go through until 3:03. So maybe he sent that Snapchat at 2:58, but because the phone was powered off, it didn't actually send until 3:03. Now, I think that that 2:58 time when his phone is either shut off or dies is very important. I think that this is the time period that something was taking place. Now, let's just say hypothetically, if at 2:58 when his phone is shut off or dies, that something nefarious was happening. That means that the time window from 2:44 where he's seen walking the dog barefoot and 2:58 is very, very important. Because between 2:44 where he's walking that dog and 2:58, the dog somehow ends up back in the apartment, but Caleb does not, because the next morning when the roommate woke up, the dog was in the apartment safe, and Caleb was not. Now, Caleb's Uber Eats order was placed at 2:45 a.m. again, and I think that it was from a gas station. He got 2 Lunchables and a drink, something fast that would have been there relatively quick. Now, if Caleb's roommates had nothing to do with his disappearance and they have been cleared, what I think could have happened is that at 2:44 he's walking the dog alone. 2:45 he makes an Uber Eats order, walks the dog, let's say, for 10 minutes. He brings the dog back to the apartment complex, puts the dog inside, and then walks to the entryway of the parking lot of the apartment complex to wait for his food order. If any of you guys have lived in dorms or apartment complexes, you know how difficult it is to get anything delivered to your doorstep sometimes because the person delivering may not be able to find the dorm, they can't find the apartment complex, they can't find the number, a multitude of different things. And especially if someone's trying to deliver at night, it becomes even harder. So I think that he probably went to the entryway of the parking lot to wait for that order. And I think that it's possible that he may have walked around a little bit, was trying to kill time as he waited, and something happened. I don't know if he saw something that he shouldn't have, or if someone just saw an opportunity to take someone who was walking aimlessly alone at night. I don't know, but that's just my theory as to what could have happened. Now, I also have another theory. This is based off of a statement that a homeless person gave law enforcement. I made a video about this previously. You can watch the video before this in the playlist. But the homeless person apparently said that he saw Caleb walking barefoot on Holly Road. Now, we don't know about any other surveillance footage that law enforcement have, and we don't know the credibility of this homeless person. But let's say that Caleb was walking down this road barefoot. That would be an indicator that, to me, his phone died, and maybe he's drunk, maybe he's lost, maybe he's confused. He could have wandered off, and if his phone was not in his hand to remind him where he was going or what he was doing, it's possible that if he was drunk, he could have just wandered into a body of water. He could have wandered into the woods. He could have wandered anywhere if he was drunk without a phone, walking throughout the night. Of course, I am holding out hope that Caleb will be found safely. I'm also hoping that new information will come out and become available to us regarding if he was drinking or not that night, to kind of clarify some things that we, the public, don't know so far. I think that new information that comes out will be of great assistance when it comes to piecing together this story and hopefully finding out what could have happened to him. So make sure that you guys follow for more updates on this case, and please continue sharing Caleb's story so that we can get this message out to as many people as we can. Hopefully someone can come forward and say that they saw something, heard something, just anything that could put a break in this case. Good morning, everyone. So we finally have some new information when it comes to 21-year-old Caleb Harris, the missing student out of Corpus Christi, Texas. So his Reddit account has been revealed to the public, and if you look at his Reddit account, there's a lot of very telling things on there, and I wasn't going to talk about this, but the more I dove into this account, the more I started to think that this account does have something to do with his disappearance. I don't want to get banned on TikTok, so I'm going to try to explain this in the most PG possible way. So Caleb's account on Reddit was a not safe for work account, and he was using this account to find people in the Corpus Christi, Texas area to meet up with for, he was trying to find people to be intimate with. Now, why do I find this important? It's because at 2:15, less than an hour before he disappeared and went missing, he had posted on Reddit trying to find someone to meet up with. On Ring camera footage, we see Caleb and two of his friends around 1 o'clock in the morning bringing their new dog outside to use the bathroom. At 2:20, about an hour and 20 minutes later, his friends go to sleep. At 2:44, he is taking the dog out again by himself while his friend is sleeping. And at 2:45, he orders through Uber Eats. We have new information to add to the timeline because at 2:15, he made a post trying to find someone to meet up with that night. Sorry, I had to put my sunglasses on. It's so bright. But anyway, what I think happened based off of what we know so far and what he was using Reddit for, I think that he noticed his friend winding down for bed. He makes this post at 2:15 to try and find someone to meet up with or someone to pick him up. He finds someone. Somehow they're either transferred from Reddit to Snapchat or they already had been transferred over. He ends up walking outside the complex to that drainage ditch / bridge area where he sends that Snapchat to his friend. Only thing is, I don't think that his friend was supposed to receive that Snapchat. I think that the person picking him up that he was going to meet up with, he was supposed to send that to that person, and that's why he sent that to begin with, because it's such an odd photo to just randomly send to your friend. So I think that he was trying to send that to the person picking him up to be like, hey, I'm standing next to this drainage ditch next to the bridge. This is where I'm standing, pick me up here. I'm really hoping that law enforcement and authorities are checking his Snapchat, checking his blocked list, the people that blocked him, his messages, and also doing that to his Reddit account as well, because he could have been messaging people back and forth on Reddit. I'm not sure how Reddit works. I'm pretty sure you can direct message people. And he could have added people on Snapchat from Reddit, and that's how, we could find and kind of narrow down who could have possibly picked him up if it was someone from either Reddit or Snapchat. Either way, this is definitely a good lead, and I think that this is providing more insight as to what could have happened, and it's giving law enforcement and authorities a route to go under instead of just thinking like, oh, this kid just disappeared in thin air. We kind of have an idea as to what he was trying to do that night, where he could have been going to that Oso Park area and stuff like that. So I'll keep you guys updated as soon as new information comes out about this. Please continue sharing Caleb's story. If anyone sees him, you can contact the number on the screen. And yeah, I'll talk to you guys soon. Good morning, everyone. So we have some new information in the Caleb Harris case out of Corpus Christi, Texas. Unfortunately, he has still not been found. However, we do have some new information pertaining to his search. Police, the FBI, the Texas Rangers, U.S. Marshals, and the Secret Services are all assisting in the search for Caleb Harris at the moment. And it has been confirmed that the Secret Services is assisting by downloading digital data for them. As of May 2nd, they've issued 82 preservation requests to social media providers, 63 information requests to Apple, served 37 search warrants to different cell phone and internet providers, and issued 19 subpoenas to different social media and cell phone providers. Forensic computer examiners have looked at over 1,500 gigabytes of data, and they are still not finished. They're still looking at more. And right now, there's a $50,000 reward for anyone to come forward with information as to where Caleb could be. Now, recently, a newfound eyewitness has come forward to share what he believes he saw, and he believes that he saw Caleb the night that he disappeared. It was reported that this gentleman follows the same route every day. He's been doing that for 10 years, and of course, it was foggy and hard to see, but he was able to explain in pretty good detail with the little white dog, so there is definitely a possible eyewitness. Tony Mathis, a family friend and also the spokesperson for the Harris family, stated that this person was very vivid with what they saw, and they do believe that he is a credible eyewitness. This sighting was in a different location from where Caleb's phone last pinged. However, law enforcement is saying that that last phone ping is an anomaly and they cannot really trust it. The Secret Service is actually looking into that phone ping to see if it is a reliable ping, and they're also looking into Caleb's electronics, his watch, his Xbox, his laptop, his internet router, to see if they can uncover anything on any of those electronic devices to indicate where he could be or where he could have gone. They do not believe that foul play is involved at this point. However, they are looking into the homeless camps around the Corpus Christi, Texas area to see if that could bring about any answers as well. Now, Tony Mathis, the spokesperson and family friend of the Harris family, came out on a live stream and said that the family has someone in their crosshairs and that this case is now a digital case. That was what he said in his own words, which to me would indicate the importance of his cell phone and all of his social media platforms, because a digital footprint is key. And if this is a digital case and they believe that, his disappearance is a result of something that happened online or digitally, someone he was talking to, that's huge. Caleb's phone, however, has still not been found. But you know what has been found? His Reddit account. And I made a video on that in the video before this one, I think, down on the playlist of his Reddit. And he was basically trying to find people to meet up with in the Corpus Christi, Texas area. Now, I did see that law enforcement has known about this Reddit account since pretty early on in this investigation, which is kind of comforting to know because they've had a lot of time to basically look into this before things got public and before things were ultimately deleted. They did say that this was a digital case, so I believe that his Reddit account is a huge key in finding out at least where he could have gone, who he could have been with, and if not that, at the very least, his behavior on Reddit could open up the door to other things he could have been doing online. And I think that that in and of itself is very, very important. The waterways, locally at least, have been checked and there are no signs of Caleb Harris in the water, which is a good sign. Tony Mathis, the spokesperson, does believe that Caleb is alive and possibly being held captive by someone. And I honestly do hope that that's the case. I hope that he's alive. I hope that he's safe. And I'm really hoping that with all of these different groups, the Marshals, the Secret Service, the FBI, that they're going to be able to locate Caleb safely. And my fingers are crossed. I will keep you guys updated, of course, so make sure to follow. Let me know your thoughts, and please continue sharing Caleb's missing person flyer. $50,000 reward for anyone to come forward with where he could be, who he could be with. So please continue sharing. Hey guys, so a body was just pulled out of the water on Ocean Drive in Corpus Christi, Texas. I've been following this for like the last 2 hours, and it was just confirmed that that body was not Caleb Harris's. Now, obviously, Caleb has been missing for almost 3 months, so if his body was in the water, recovering him at this point would probably make him not be very identifiable. So the fact that they were able to say that this was not Caleb makes me think that this may have been a female body that they recovered. Caleb's family will be speaking in an interview tonight, and I will be posting that around 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, so make sure to follow my page for that. They will be sharing some information and also where they stand regarding Caleb's search efforts. This body of water on Ocean Drive is only 6 to 8 minutes away from Enos Jocelyn Road, which is where Caleb lived. But someone was able to get in contact with Tony Mathis, the spokesperson for Caleb Harris's family, and he did confirm that the body was not Caleb's. So yeah, I just wanted to share the source of that information with you guys so you all know. Hey guys, Caleb Harris's family has spoke out in a new interview for the first time in a while to discuss Caleb and also where they are at in their search for him. Caleb has been missing for almost 3 months, however, they are not giving up.
I'm Randy Harris.
I'm Andy Harris. And I'm Caleb's mom, Becky Harris.
I'm Pop.
I'm Nana. I'm Janet.
And I'm Jeff, Caleb's uncle.
Randy was with me, and whenever we found out for sure that we were having a baby and that he was going to be a boy, and in the doctor's office, and it was very exciting. We had worked hard. We had been trying to get pregnant for a while, and so it was a joy to know that he was coming.
And I'll just never forget the day he was born. It was a fall, crisp day, and it was beautiful outside, and it just made everything wonderful.
Just seeing him and holding him, and seeing extension of all him, our family is just a blessing. Immediately, it was just such a great feeling. I've got, pictures from him when he was a baby, when he was a year old, and we went out on the lake for the first time, on my old boat we have and still have, and we've been out every summer since, and many, dozens and dozens and dozens of trips to the lake with Caleb, and, I've been blessed with the pictures, and I look at the pictures every day.
He enjoyed the team sports, and he liked baseball, and he liked football, and he did try his hand at golf as well. And so it was more than playing the game itself, it was more about the team. And he loved to support his team and being a part of it.
Becky and I had been together at lunch that day. A friend of ours came into town. Their daughter came into town, and we met her in downtown San Antonio, and we had lunch together. And we came home, and Becky went on her way, and I went on mine here at the house, and I got a phone call from Becky saying that Caleb was missing, and I thought, missing from what? And so that's how I found out, that Monday afternoon. And we were, of course, just devastated. But I really thought that, oh, well, this will just be, a few days and they'll find him. But the boys had already done so much of, looking and searching on their boys, meaning his roommates, looking for him, that they were without a doubt knew that something had gone on and he was missing.
I was actually out with my mom. We were getting my passport done. And just as we stepped out, we got a call from one of his roommates saying, like, hey, Caleb been missing since 2 o'clock this morning, and what we know is more now. But, and I was just thinking, oh, that's so weird. That's not like him. That I never would have thought that it would go on for as long as it did, or I thought that it was going to be resolved in a couple of hours.
I had just spent the weekend with Caleb just prior to him going missing, and so we had a great time together, and he was happy. He showed me all the places he loves to go. It was just a really great time. We walked on the beach for a mother-son time together, and I left with my heart feeling full, and looking forward to seeing him again. And so I know that he was in a really good place. He was enjoying his classes. He even talked about enjoying a couple of his professors, and he had a great group of friends who loved to go to do things with, like fishing, that we all know. And but also he wouldn't have walked out if he were just to leave. He wouldn't leave his possessions behind, like his wallet and his keys and his shoes, that kind of thing.
I think because that he had planned things so well, he had spent some time that evening talking to some friends that went to school other places, and they all had the spring break. We were a week away from spring break at the time. And so they had plans to meet up, during the week off. We were planning all to be here in Broncos. And so he had made those plans. He had signed a lease on his apartment. One of his roommates, his family or friends of mine, I've known them for a long time. And so, there would be no reason that I could see. He also, there was some talk about his job in Alaska. Well, that came about because we have some extended family, I called them extended family, that work and live up there, and they had been here just previously and talked to Caleb about working up there for the summer. So it wasn't like he was going to some job that he didn't really know. He was involved. He felt very comfortable to go and to be with this family, and because he had known them most of his life. And so, there were a lot of good things that were coming up in his life that it wouldn't make sense for him to take off.
We have a very close-knit family. We are together a lot. He calls us almost every day. Would be unheard of for him to just walk off, and it's not even possible.
He was on the phone for about 71 minutes playing video games with a friend in Colorado till about 10:15. His roommate brought the new dog home. It came from his roommate's family. And they started playing with the dog probably around 10:15, 10:30. Just doing all kinds of stuff, getting excited about it, texting us pictures, hey, we're going to go get a life jacket for it tomorrow, that kind of stuff, so they can ride, can ride on the kayaks. They fast forward to about 1 o'clock. There's a Ring camera with a roommate and a future roommate, and they're outside playing with the dog. And then at 2:44, he snaps Andy a picture of the dog, walking the dog, orders his Uber Eats lunch for the next day, and then at 2:58 is when his phone went dead or turned off. And there's some anomalies out there of another chat that he sent to a friend after the phone went off, and then possible ping, but those both occurred after the phone was not working. So there's really no evidence that phone really did that, other than it's just an anomaly. It could have happened. You could have sent those a lot earlier, or the phone could have actually connected to a tower a lot earlier. It just happened to show up, within about a 12-minute time frame after his phone went dead.
It was a very short clip of just him walking the dog. It was late, so it was dark. The only thing in the video is just the dog and what looks like to be a sidewalk, or
It was the parking lot.
Yeah.
You could see stripes next to the cars.
It's been very upsetting and disheartening not to have Caleb back. And so we're looking for information that will lead us to him, will lead law enforcement to him, in order to get the process moving to get him back home. So it's day by day, and you can't get him off your mind. It's a constant day, and you're thinking about it. You need something to pull you away for a little while, but it always comes back. What's the holdup? Why can't they find him?
Well, I'll do whatever it takes, whatever effort it takes to get him back.
we are real people. We are not just this news story that people are following. We are this family that is missing their child, their grandchild, their niece, my brother, my best friend. This isn't something that is entertainment for anybody, and just as Jeff said, we will do anything to get him back.
I would just say if there's people watching that have him, that he has a family that loves him back, and to that God will forgive you for anything you've done, and just return him back safely. And if Caleb is listening, I want him to know to stay strong, to call him verses if he knows, and to fight with everything he's got to get back.
We don't know what we're dealing with this. And it's just been agony for all of us. We sort of take turns, doesn't all happen at once, but we are a very tight group. Since Caleb was in the first grade, he's lived within 10 minutes of us. We do a lot of our life together, and there's a huge hole in our family with him gone. I want to say too, that if Caleb was listening to this, we love you. We want you back. And if you're not whole, we will get you there.
If we could talk directly to whomever may have him, again, our faith in Jesus Christ is something that we, as hard as it is to pray for that individual or that group or whatever, where he is, we have to find it in our hearts to also pray for them, that they will have mercy, they will have the grace of God upon them. And that's what we're hoping for. And if Caleb's listening, come home, fight.
He wants to come home.
fight everything you can.
To watch the full interview, go to Jennifer Coffindaffer's YouTube page and check it out. It's a little lengthy, but it is definitely a good watch and something that everyone should watch the entirety of if you are following this case. For more updates and information on this case, make sure to follow. Let me know your guys' thoughts in the comments, and I will talk to you soon. Hey guys, so according to several sources, Tony Mathis has actually been dropped by Caleb Harris's family as being their spokesperson. Tony also changed his TikTok handle from Find Caleb Harris, a page that he created dedicated to sharing information and spreading awareness about the Caleb Harris case, and now has it under his own name, Tony Mathis. And this page is apparently going to be dedicated to true crime and exposing criminal content creators for exploiting victims' families. That to me says a lot about Tony's character. The fact that he deleted all of those videos on the Find Caleb Harris TikTok page, spreading Caleb's story, spreading the message, spreading information, trying to get this story out there, those are all gone now because he's not working directly with the family. It makes it seem like he was never interested in truly finding Caleb. He was only posting those videos because he was working with the family and that was his job, and that's not a good look. A spokesperson for victims' family members is supposed to be the professional front, the one who shares the information, the one who redirects things because the family is unable to do so. The families are feeling a ton of emotions, anger, frustration, worry, fear, sadness. They can't portray themselves professionally to the public. That's what the spokesperson is supposed to do. And Tony was doing the very opposite. Tony was literally on stream, live streams for hours and hours and hours on end. He engaged in misinformation, spread gossip, was very nasty to other people online, and that is not what a spokesperson is supposed to do. I think that Caleb's family ultimately made the right decision by cutting ties with Tony. He's not professional. He's not in it for the right reasons. It doesn't seem like he is, at least. And I really hope that Seth Rogers comes to the realization that he can do and he can find much better. Of course, I will continue to be following the Sebastian Rogers case as well as Caleb Harris's case, so make sure to follow for more updates on that. Let me know if you guys think that Caleb Harris's family made the right decision by cutting ties with Tony, and I will talk to you guys as soon as we have some new information. Hey guys, it's being reported that human remains were just found at City Pump Station near Enos Jocelyn Road. This is the area that Caleb Harris lived in Corpus Christi, Texas. At the moment, information and details about this discovery are very limited. We know that city workers found the body and that the body was allegedly in a stormwater drain. It's being stated that a recent tropical storm actually caused the body to surface, and that they are in fact remains. This is not a body that has been put there recently. This is a body that's been there for quite some time. The medical examiner is now on scene to take those remains back to the medical examiner's office to determine whose remains these belong to. And again, the location where these remains were ultimately found is just a few minutes away from where Caleb Harris was last seen and where he lived with his roommates. I will keep you guys updated as soon as we have some new information, but as of right now, we just have to wait and see what the medical examiner ultimately finds out. Make sure to follow if you guys want more updates on this case. As soon as we have some new information, I will let you guys know. I'll talk to you later. Good morning, everyone. So yesterday I discussed the fact that there were human remains located in a storm water drain close by to where Caleb Harris was last seen. And right now I want to put into perspective how close those remains were actually found in relation to Caleb's apartment complex. So this right here is Caleb's apartment complex. If you walk down that sidewalk and go straight, this is the area where Caleb's last Snapchat was sent. That photo that he last sent on Snapchat. If you look across the street, this is actually where those human remains were just found yesterday. This area right here, that specific building, and in this part of the land, that is where the manholes are. And again, his apartment complex right across the street. Now, I actually remember about a month or two ago, someone was actually in Corpus Christi, Texas, canvassing the area around Caleb's apartment in an effort to try and find him or find where he could have gone. And she was actually on the property right here, right across the street from his apartment complex and where these remains were ultimately just discovered. She was on this property and she saw multiple manholes that were connected to this storm drainage thing, And some of them were open, some of them were not covered. And the ones that were covered were not open or not looked into because there was dirt and brush covering them. It wasn't something that authorities would have been able to investigate thoroughly because they were covered and looked as if they had never been open in quite some time. And she actually had a dog with her that was kind of whimpering and making noises as if it was responding to something within that open manhole.
Easily fell in there. And then this one hasn't even gotten uncovered. See, they didn't look in here, you know? And they didn't look in this one either, because I just uncovered it.
Yeah, but how was
No, nobody brought him here. I'm just saying, like, maybe he could be stuck in the sewer. Maybe he fell in that one, and he shimmied his way through the tunnel or something down to this one. And he's stuck in here. Maybe he hit his head falling down, and he's stuck in there.
If you fall that far, it's gonna hurt like a motherfucker.
Right, maybe he fell. That's why he couldn't cry for help. I mean, they obviously did not search this area because I just uncovered them. And it's right by the cottages. Very well could be in barefoot walking distance. I mean, he was barefoot, right? So
Now, if foul play was not involved in Caleb's disappearance, I think that it is possible that he could have been intoxicated and stumbled across the street into this area and could have fallen into this open manhole. But at the same time, I just don't see how someone would be able to just fall into a manhole. I mean, I know that a manhole is big enough for someone to fit into, but I don't see how it's big enough for someone to walk and then just fall into it without being able to catch themselves or pull themselves back up. You know, I don't think that it's likely that someone would just fall directly down the hole, if that makes sense. And if foul play is involved, I think that it is possible that someone could have taken him and then put him down there. Dental records are probably going to be the quickest way to identify who these remains belong to, so we just have to be patient and wait and see if this is in fact Caleb Harris or if it is another person. We might get an update today, we might get an update tomorrow. Regardless, I will let you guys know as soon as that information comes out. So if you want updates, make sure to follow. Let me know your thoughts in the comments and I will talk to you guys later. Hey guys, so we have a small update in the Caleb Harris case. So according to several news outlets, they are reporting that the remains that were found down in that sewer drain thing, they did not show that there was some sort of homicide or foul play involved. That's what these outlets are reporting that the medical examiner said. But in the same articles, they're saying that the remains cannot be identified and they cannot determine a cause of death. I personally am hesitant to believe this 100% at the moment, just because if you can't identify a body, the identity of the body, if you can't identify a cause of death through an autopsy because of how bad the body has been decomposed, how are you able to determine that no foul play and there's no signs of homicide on the body? You know what I'm saying? Now keep in mind, we still do not know if these remains are Caleb Harris or if it's someone else. We also don't know how these remains got down there, but that's all stuff that will end up coming out. We will end up finding out whose remains these are. We will end up hopefully finding out how those remains got down there. But at the moment, we just don't know anything. Based off of some of the videos that I've shared in the playlist down below, across the street where these remains were ultimately found from Caleb's apartment complex, there was wells that were uncovered. They didn't have lids on them. So it is possible that someone could have fallen in just by, you know, those wells that were uncovered. It's also possible that, you know, someone could have hurt that person and thrown that person in there, or maybe they fell in a different location and ended up in that area based off of, you know, the storms that they were having. So we just have to wait for positive identification of these remains, and then from then they'll be able to investigate how the body actually got there and in what circumstances it did get there. I also do want to just point this out. It says that they haven't linked Harris to the body that was found in the well. They said the body had no obvious signs of foul play and they're trying to figure out how it got there. But according to this specific news station, the wastewater station was locked when an employee made the discovery earlier this week. They said that means someone would have to have had a key to get into where the wet well is located. So if this is true, would that mean that if someone fell into the well that didn't have a lid accidentally, would they not end up in this same area where the remains were found? Because if that's the case, then that would mean someone would have had to physically unlock this well, put the body in there, and then lock it back up and leave. And if that were true, that would literally be a telltale sign of foul play being involved. Of course, I am following this very closely, and as soon as we have updates and new information, I will let you guys know. So make sure to follow for that. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, and I will talk to you guys later. Good morning, everyone. So for the past couple of days, since that body was found in that Corpus Christi, Texas well where the storm water is collected, or whatever the case was, I've been trying to wrap my head around the fact how a body could have gotten down there. Now, I've theorized a few different things. Someone placed the body in there. Someone fell in there. Maybe someone fell somewhere else and ended up in that area, because law enforcement is saying that they checked and canvassed that area extensively multiple times and they didn't see any human remains. But you have to think, if someone fell in a well or was thrown in a well, it's going to take a few days for that person to rise back up. So I'm not sure how that works exactly, but just because you canvassed the area and maybe threw a flashlight down there or looked with a flashlight and you didn't see anything, that doesn't necessarily mean that someone wasn't down there this entire time. Also, one of those searchers who was actually searching that property where these wells are, their dog was actually whimpering over one of those manholes. So it just begs the question of, was this person here the whole time? I think it's very likely that they were. And then after really thinking about it and doing my own little experiment, it's likely, but I don't think that it's the most possible outcome that someone would have accidentally fallen in that well just because it was uncovered. So I actually tried stepping on one of these things. No, it's not that big, but yes, I definitely would be able to fit down there. But I also feel like if I put one leading foot as I'm walking on this hole and it was uncovered, and my leg fell in there, I feel like I would be able to have caught myself on these surrounding areas, whether the surrounding area is concrete or grass. If this person would have fallen down there because this was uncovered, I feel like they would have had to have either been very intoxicated or under the influence of something, or they would have had to literally just jump so that their body would have went straight down into it like a pencil. But then again, crazy things happen all the time, and things that you wouldn't necessarily think are possible to happen or likely to happen, they do happen. So on one hand, I don't think that it's likely, but on the other hand, it's definitely possible. And then you have law enforcement and authorities basically saying that in order to have access to this underground area where these remains were found, you need to have a key. So if you need keys to access that area where the remains were found, would that mean that the uncovered wells on that property do not lead to where those remains ultimately were found? I don't know, this entire situation is just very confusing. But again, we still don't have all of the information or details. We don't even know whose remains these belong to at the moment. We just have to be patient, wait for more information from the medical examiner, and then wait for more information from law enforcement and authorities in order for us to have a better understanding or idea as to what could have happened and how these remains could have gotten there. So let me know what you guys are thinking right now. How do you think that these remains got down in that well? I'm curious to know. Of course, I will keep you guys updated as new information comes out, so make sure to follow if you guys want that. Let me know your thoughts, like I said, and I will talk to you later. Hey everyone, I wanted to share this gentleman's theory right here, what he believes happened to Caleb Harris. There's a lot of people saying that foul play was involved. They believe that someone threw him under there, this, that, and the other thing. But I don't necessarily think that foul play had to have played a factor here. I think that this could have been an accident, and I think that this guy's theory is very, very well put together. Take a listen. He writes, I think Caleb was fascinated by the fog. He took the dog back to the apartment, then went to the bridge and took the picture he sent to a friend. He then followed the drainage ditch to where the drainage tunnel comes out from beneath Williams Drive. Maybe he was hoping to see the fog billow out like smoke. This would also account for the last ping of his phone near that location that law enforcement could not explain and dismissed as an anomaly. He then took the most direct path back to the apartment to get there before Uber Eats. This path would lead him next to the lift station and through the field directly in line with the open manway. He was in a rush and could have been jogging. It was dark and foggy. He does not see the open manway and falls in hard and is severely injured, maybe knocked unconscious. In a few hours, you have the highest flow of water since everyone is waking up and using showers, sinks, and toilets at that time. He drowns and his body, somewhat buoyant, is pushed into the 15-inch pipe of the sewer line. The sewer line empties into the lift station where his body sinks to the bottom. Months later, during periodic maintenance, his remains are found having floated to the surface due to decomp. He then used this picture for reference. It's of a 21-year-old being extracted from a 12-inch sewer pipe, because a lot of people were basically saying, how would he fit in a 15-inch pipe? Well, it's possible. People have fit in 12-inch pipes, I guess. Of course, we do have to wait for the investigation to unfold and for authorities to have that final autopsy report, as well as a bunch of other information that they are looking into. So of course, as soon as we have more concrete evidence and information, I will let you guys know. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, and I will talk to you guys later.